Hey, welcome to Bikes, Boats, and Bivouacs. Today we're going to talk about our trip to Pigeon Forge and Nashville. So on this trip, we were headed to two major places. Where were we headed, Marie?
Pigeon Forge and Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep, so this was a trip to Tennessee, and then we were also on our way home going to stop in Kentucky. So here's what our map looked like. But as we planned this trip and started this trip, what happened?
Well, there was restless nights in regards to Scott's back issues, and he couldn't get comfortable, so he wasn't able to rest.
We had to switch it up. So in the late spring, early summer, I wrecked my back. I herniated 2 discs and I fractured one vertebrae in my back. So that was recovering, and we had taken a trip up north and it went pretty well, so we thought we would be fine on this trip. But while we were in Pigeon Forge, my back really started to act up to where it was excruciating pain. So we were able to complete the Pigeon Forge part of the trip, but Nashville we had to let go.
Right.
So let me put this clip in and you'll see who was driving the rig on the way home. So our trip to Nashville got cut a little short because of my back issues. So I'm resting my back right now. You can see there's Phoebe. And over there driving is Marie. She's concentrating. She's pulling the rig that's behind us. Cruising on 81. So when the trip started, our first stop was in Staunton, Virginia, at the Walnut Hills Campground. We were really impressed with this campground, and you'll see in a subsequent video we do a review of this campground. But what was so neat about that campground?
One evening we were able to go out to dinner at the Edelweiss German restaurant.
Yeah, real authentic German food, and we had the whole crew there, and we really enjoyed it. That restaurant made it worth it, and you'll get to see more of that restaurant in the Walnut Hills video. I'm going to try out the Edelweiss restaurant. Authentic German food. And this is about 5 minutes from the Walnut Hills Campground. And then, once we left Staunton, Virginia, we headed to Pigeon Forge.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, my back was in great shape.
Yeah.
Now, the first time we were in Pigeon Forge, we stayed at the KOA, and we enjoyed that. But this time, we chose to stay at Claybough's campground up the street from the KOA. And what was so interesting about that Claybough's campground?
The Claybough campground offers this awesome lazy river, so we've really spent a lot of time there.
Is they actually have 3 different pools at this campground. They have the main pool, and then they have a real small pool by a restaurant they own, and then they had this lazy river, which looked like the newest one they put in. And we spent a lot of time there. It was a lot of fun. And you'll see in a subsequent video, we review Claybough, and you'll see what that campground has to offer. Family run, really nice place. But there's a lot to do in Pigeon Forge.
Mm-hmm.
So what was our first adventure?
We went to the Comedy Barn.
Yeah, so this is a comedy show that's right on the major strip, and very easy to get tickets to, and really a nice program. That really clean fun.
Yes, it's family oriented.
Yeah, they had mentioned that this show was family oriented, so there was no swearing or anything like that. It kind of reminded you of the old Hee Haw TV show when it was on. So we really enjoyed that. And then we wanted to do like a dinner show kind of thing. And the last time we were down in Pigeon Forge, we'd done the Pirates show.
And that was with the grandchildren.
Yeah. And you can find that in our Pigeon Forge playlist. And this time we decided to do Dixie Stampede. Now these shows are all owned by the company that Dolly Parton runs.
Right.
But what'd you think of the Dixie Stampede?
I enjoyed it. The food was really good. It's, of course, what do you call it?
They're serving, what, 300 or 400 people.
Yeah.
So that,
It's
you
like
know,
an assembly line. They
Yeah.
bring it out in a big bucket and they put it in front of you.
Yeah, so you have soup and chicken and a main meal and veggies and a roll and stuff.
But it was hot and it was good.
Yeah, the food was good. And the show was excellent. The interesting thing about this show was what?
Oh, of course, the live horses and the actors. They really kept you entertained.
Yeah, and this is the show where my back started to rebel against me. The seats are like a bench seat with a wooden back, and it was about a 2.5 hour show.
Yes.
And that's when I first started noticing some problems with my back. But the show was excellent. We really enjoyed the show. So then the next day, we decided to do a little exploring. So we hit the Townsend Visitor Center, and they had a lot of information there.
It was a great gift shop, and there was a man there that had all his art on display. He carved wood out of different trees, and he had a little explanation of the type of wood that he used.
Yeah, and that's where we found out about the Little River
Train Museum.
Yeah. So what's interesting about the Little River Train Museum?
The Little River Railroad and
Lumber Company.
Lumber Company built up the land where we were, Pigeon Forge, right?
Yeah, they developed that whole area
and they sold the land back to the Great Smoky Mountain National Park so that we can enjoy it as it is today.
Yeah, the lumber company, as they worked that whole area, it started to become a real touristy area. And eventually, I think they sold in excess of 50,000 acres back to the U.S. government to create the Smoky Mountain National Park. So we have it today to enjoy. So let's check out the museum. On that day, we continued to explore places, and we came across
Bush family.
Yeah.
Bush family baked bean plant, right?
Yeah, the plant, and there was a visitor center, museum, and cafe.
Right, so we had lunch there.
So we checked that all out. You'll see a subsequent video on this. And the interesting thing was the dessert.
The dessert, it's a pecan pie as we know it, but they make it out of the baked beans.
So they used the baked beans as the kind of the pie filling.
Right.
And it was delicious.
It was. We enjoyed it.
It was really good. So we would encourage you to check out the Bush Baked Bean Visitor Center and Cafe and Museum. It was really interesting to see how that company has developed into the company it is today. And they talk a lot about Duke the dog from the commercials.
Right.
So that was kind of interesting.
And
then,
lots of gifts and things
Yeah.
for you to enjoy looking at and maybe buying.
Yeah. And then the next day, we went to Ober Mountain. So the interesting thing in Pigeon Forge is at the top of the mountain are these kind of entertainment resort areas. Mm-hmm. We did 2 of those the last time we were in Pigeon Forge, but we didn't do Ober Mountain. So this was our first time to do Ober Mountain. And what kind of things were there to do?
They had a ski lift, right?
Yeah.
And then
to
a
the
sliding, a sled slide.
Yep.
Alpine.
The Alpine roller coaster.
Right.
So they have a gondola that goes right down into Gatlinburg, and we have a subsequent video on Ober Mountain, so you can check it out. Your sister joined us.
Beth was with us. She drove up from South Carolina.
Maria is one of 9 children. She is dead center in the middle. And Beth is her older sister who lives in Florida, but she was visiting folks in South Carolina. So she came up and spent a couple days with us and went to Ober Mountain. So here's Marie and Beth at the top of Ober Mountain. And then Tim's family came up. He had relatives come up to join us. And we met them at the Old Mill Pottery Barn restaurant. Mm-hmm. And what was confusing about that day?
Oh, there's two different places with this almost the same name.
Yeah, so Tim had made reservations at the Old Mill Pottery Barn Cafe, and we were all waiting at the Old Mill restaurant and couldn't find him, and he said he was right in the front. And then we realized he was the next building over, so we went over there. But the food was absolutely fantastic.
And the service was good.
Yeah, check out these dishes. And then I didn't go on this because by this time I was in agony with my back, but you got to do a Jeep tour.
Right, it was really a cool adventure, and I'm glad I went. And I never felt like in danger. So the driver was really good, and he was very informative, and he told us a lot of like touristy kind of secrets on how to navigate the traffic in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg.
And I think there's a spot there where you could stand in 3 different states, right? North Carolina,
Yeah.
Tennessee.
We went up to that, and there was a sign that said, yes, we were in 3 different states at one time.
So check it out. So this video gives you a preview of the subsequent videos that are coming up in the next few weeks. And if this video helped you, consider subscribing to the channel. It's free, it helps us out a lot. Also, ring that bell, you'll be notified every time I put up a new video, and give the video a thumbs up. That helps it be seen by a wider audience. But more important than all that,
Go have some fun out there.
hey, thanks for watching.